The highest mountain in the world is Mount Everest. It's pretty famous. Big pointy thing in the Himalayas in Nepal. Sits up at 8,848 meters. It's a real high mountain. Everyone knows about Mount Everest. Most people also know the second highest mountain in the world is K2. But very few people know the third highest mountain in the world is called Kanchenjunga. Or how to spell that. It's not quite as simple as K2, that's for sure. So how many of the highest mountains in the world do you really know? By the time you get onto the rest of the 10 highest mountains in the world, most don't have a clue. Why would you? Mount Everest is hogging all the fame. And the more commonly known 7 summits, the highest mountains on each of the 7 continents in the world, don't make much of an appearance on this list. A top 10 of the world's highest mountains contains itself exclusively to Asia. So let's do this. Let's help you learn the top 10 highest mountains in the world. Please subscribe my YouTube channel, Knowledge by SK NOORZAI, click on bell icon and follow on all social accounts. And let us know in comments on which topic you want us to make video. 1. Mount Everest, Himalayas, Nepal, Tibet Autonomous Region, China 8,848 meters. First climbed by Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay in 1953, Mount Everest is, of course, the highest mountain in the world. Everest has come under a lot of scrutiny recently. Photographs showing enormous queues near the summit have opened a huge debate about overcrowding on Everest. One thing's for sure though, the inherent draw of Mount Everest is not going to go away anytime soon. Mankind is drawn to the mountain like moths to a flame. As well as those looking to take the route from Everest Base Camp to the summit, trekking to Everest Base Camp itself is also hugely popular. In fact, it's become one of the world's most famous multi-day treks. P.S. If you are currently cheating at a pub quiz on the question, what is the highest mountain in the world, then we would suggest that it's relatively unlikely you're going to win the quiz. Unless you cheat a bunch more. 2. K2, Karakoram, Pakistan, China 8,611 meters. The second highest mountain in the world is K2. The mountain took its name from the notation used by the Great Trigonometrical Survey of British India. At the time, there wasn't an apparent local name for the mountain, and so it stuck. K2 is also nicknamed the Savage Mountain, which is cool in a slightly point-break, over-the-top extreme kind of way. It is fitting, though, too. The mountain is typically considered one of the toughest mountains in the world to climb, notoriously harder than Mount Everest. Per summit attempt of all mountains over 8,000 meters, with around 300 successful summits and 77 deaths. The highest fatality rate is that of the 10th highest mountain in the world, spoiler alert, Annapurna I in Nepal. Unlike Annapurna though, K2 has never been. 3. Kanchenjunga, Himalayas, Nepal, India 8,586 meters. So you knew Mount Everest was the highest mountain in the world. You even knew K2 was the second highest. But we're betting if you asked most people what Kanchenjunga was, they'd guess it was some kind of street food. It is not. Kanchenjunga is the third highest mountain in the world. It can be found between Nepal and Sikkim in India, with 3 of the peaks on the border and the other 2 in the Taplejung district of Nepal. Kanchenjunga was actually thought to be the highest mountain in the world until 1852. This wasn't because people didn't know about Mount Everest, but because they had done their calculations wrong. After further homework by the Great Trigonometrical Survey of India, it was discovered that actually Kanchenjunga was the third highest mountain in the world. And children around the world breathed a sigh of relief that they would be primarily learning about Mount Everest instead, a mountain which is significantly easier to both say and spell. 4. Lhotse, Himalayas, Nepal, Tibet Autonomous Region, China 8,516 meters. Lhotse is one of the more famous mountains on any list of the top 10 highest mountains in the world, largely because of its proximity to Mount Everest. The route up Lhotse is the same as that up Mount Everest from Everest Base Camp until you pass Camp 3 and then depart to the Rees Couloir from the Lhotse face, from where the peak of Lhotse is reached. Lhotse is a little like the neglected younger sibling of Mount Everest. Everest gets all the attention while Lhotse, though often considered more visually attractive, is significantly less busy. While the main summit of Lhotse was first climbed in 1956, the Lhotse Middle actually remained the highest unclimbed, named point on Earth for decades. It was eventually first scaled in 2011 by a Russian expedition. 5. Makalu, Himalayas, Nepal, Tibet Autonomous Region, China 8,485 meters. Makalu is the third of the four 8,000 meters high mountains in the Everest Massif in Nepal. It was first summited by a French expedition led by Jean Franco in 1955. Their ascent was most notable for the fact that a full 10 members of the expedition team summited the mountain on the trip. In those days, it was normally only one or two climbers from each team who reached the top of the mountain on an expedition, so this was a huge deal at the time, and generally, it's just quite nice, isn't it? The first two summited on the 15th of May 1955, then four more went up the next day, then four more went up the day after that. Just very wholesome mountain climbing, really. Please subscribe my YouTube channel, Knowledge by SK NOORZAI, click on bell icon and follow on all social accounts. And let us know in comments on which topic you want us to make video. 6. Cho Oyu, Himalayas, Nepal, Tibet Autonomous Region, China 8,188 meters. The fourth and final member of the Everest region's 8,000 meters club is Cho Oyu. The sixth highest mountain in the world at 8,188 meters, Cho Oyu is considered the easiest of the 8,000 meters mountains to climb due to the gentler slopes of the ascent. It's also just a few kilometers away from the Nangpala Pass, a major trading route between the Tibetan and Khumbu Sherpas. If the four mountains in the Everest region over 8,000 meters were in a boy band, Cho Oyu would be the laid-back, easy-going backup singer. Not the most flamboyant one, but probably the most relatable. The mountain of the people. If you're wondering, Lhotse would be the best vocalist, always getting its limelight stolen by Everest's over-the-top hairstyles. And Makalu would be somewhere in the background just trying to make sure everyone got along. Weird analogy. We know. Let's move swiftly on. 7. Dhaulagiri, Nepal 8,167 meters. The Dhaulagiri in Nepal is the seventh highest mountain in the world at 8,167 meters, and one of the most aesthetically stunning mountains of the lot. The Dhaulagiri was first climbed on 13 May 1960 but is perhaps best known for its visibility on the popular Annapurna circuit. With Annapurna just 34 kilometers away and the Dhaulagiri a regular feature on the skyline while trekking Annapurna. The mountains are separated by the world's deepest gorge, the Kaligandaki Gorge, so it's not a part of the world that's particularly struggling for scenery. 8. Manaslu, Nepal 8,163 meters. Manaslu is the eighth highest mountain in the world. The name actually comes from the Sanskrit word manasa, which means intellect or soul. Manaslu was first scaled by Toshio Imanishi and Galzin Norbu, who were part of a Japanese expedition which reached the top of the mountain on 9 May 1956. Their ascent was controversial. Locals of the area had prevented a Japanese team from reaching the top in 1954, believing that previous attempts had displeased the gods and caused avalanches that destroyed a monastery in the area, killing 18 people. The Japanese made a substantial donation to rebuild the monastery, but this didn't restore goodwill towards the expeditions, and as a result, the second ascent of Manaslu didn't take place until 1971, when another Japanese team completed the ascent. 9. Nanga Parbat, Pakistan 8,126 meters. The ninth highest mountain in the world is Nanga Parbat, in the Diamur district of Pakistan's Gilgit-Baltistan region in the western Himalayas. Like many of the other mountains, the name comes from Sanskrit, with Nanga and Parvata meaning naked mountain. The Tibetan name for the mountain, Diamur, meaning huge mountain, is maybe a bit more appropriate, if a little lacking in creativity. Nanga Parbat truly towers over the surrounding, low-lying valleys around it in every direction. The stunning Rupal face on the mountain rises a full 4,600 meters above its base and is often called the highest mountain face in the world. 10. Annapurna I, Nepal 8,091 meters. Annapurna I in Nepal is the 10th highest mountain in the world, and one of the most famous mountains on this list courtesy of the fact that the trekking in Annapurna is truly world-renowned. Annapurna I may be only the 10th highest mountain in the world, but it actually has a higher fatality rate than any other mountain on this list, with 32% of attempts to reach the top of the mountain resulting in a fatality. Far more popular than the summit attempt is the Annapurna Circuit Trek, which circumnavigates Annapurna 1 and takes in views from the Dhaulagiri to the mountain passes of the Annapurna Massif. Treks to the Annapurna Sanctuary, the base camp for climbing to the peaks of Annapurna, are also increasingly popular. And there you have it. Those are the 10 highest mountains in the world. An honorable mention must go out to the amazingly named Gasherbrum 8,080 meters on the Pakistan-Chinese border, though. It's the 11th highest mountain in the world and as such misses out on a place in this list, and on the fame and fortune that comes with it, by a mere 19 meters. BY NOORZAI production. Please subscribe my YouTube channel, Knowledge by SK NOORZAI, click on bell icon and follow on all social accounts. And let us know in comments on which topic you want us to make video.